Happy New Year, Fixer family. Welcome to Fixin' 2. I have got an amazing project for you today. It is something that I have been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm going to share with you today how to create this beautiful lantern. I'm so excited about this lantern. It's going to be in front of my fireplace, which is looking a bit bare after the holidays, after taking down all of my Christmas decor. I'm ready to bring some life back into my living room. So let's go ahead and get started. So here are all the things that you're going to need for this project. Now down in the description box below, I will have all of the lumber and all of the cuts along with all of the rest of the supplies listed down there for you. So we are ready to get started. I went ahead and pre-cut these. Now we need to go ahead and get them all sanded. Now this little sander that I'm using, this sander came from Walmart. I paid $17 for it. I have a big orbital sander, but really it is something that I like using for bigger projects. This little thing works perfectly. It's not really a name brand that we all know. I can't even remember the name of it, but Walmart carries it and it works perfectly. So I just took it and went ahead and sanded all of my pieces. And you can do this one of two ways. You can go ahead and sand the big pieces and get the whole thing done, and then all you have to sand is your cut edges. Or you can go ahead and make all of your cuts and then go in and sand each individual piece. And that's what I did. It just was a little bit easier for me to do each individual piece. And I have to tell you, my arm was a bit sore. But it definitely will work out in the end. You want to make sure that you do sand everything though. That is when you're working with wood, you want to make sure that you get everything sanded down really nice, because that helps for the paint to adhere if you're painting, or the stain to really penetrate and give you a beautiful color. So now that we have everything sanded, cut and sanded, we're ready to begin putting them together. This is where you're going to take 2 of your 21.5-inch pieces and also 2 of your 7.5-inch pieces and putting these together. And of course, I'm going to be using these clamps. I picked these up at Harbor Freight, and they'll help you to hold your pieces together while you get them nailed together, and it helps it to stay square. So as you see, I'm just putting just a little dab of my wood glue here and getting those held together before I nail it, because we're going to be creating 2 rectangles with these pieces. And just bring those clamps together there, and then you're going to take your nail gun or screws if you want to use screws. That with a drill, that is a real easy. Now guys, these are not intimidating. They really are easy pieces that you can use, and if you just want to get started by using a drill and a few screws, then by all means do what is easiest for you. But this project goes together super easy. So I start out by doing just 1 nail to hold everything together, and then once I can get the clamps off of it, then I go back in and put a second nail in each corner, and we're going to create 2 of these rectangles. So now what I've also kind of as a tip for you here, if you don't have what they call a nail set, you can take a big nail and use it to set your nails down into your wood, just to get them to be nice and flush. So now we're going to take 4 more pieces of our 7.5-inch pieces and put them on each corner of our bottom rectangle for this particular shot, putting a little dab of glue on your 4 7.5-inch pieces. Then we're going to take the second rectangle, placing it on top, and then just working to make sure you got good and flush pieces to where it's nice and even around the edges there. And then just again putting one nail in there, doing the same thing on the other two sides. Then we're going to take this and we're going to flip it over so that we can attach the other side to this. Now the reason that I did it this way is because I wanted to make sure that everything was going to fit together real nicely, kind of as a dry fit, and then putting the one nail each on the bottom part now that it's on the bottom, and then of course we're going to put one nail each on the top. I hope that that makes sense to you. And once you get it all together, then of course you can go back and put your second nail in there, because what that does is that gives you playroom to make sure everything is nice and flush. And now you have your box. So now we're going to be putting the bottom on here. Now I know that this looks like the top, but this is actually going to be the bottom. And this is actually our 1x4s that we have here, and we're just going to cut those into 10.5-inch pieces, 3 of those. And I'm just kind of dry fitting them on there, because you will have a little bit of a lip on one side of it, and then it'll be flush on the other two sides. So you just flip one off, put a little bit of glue, and again we're going in. These are 2-inch brad nails that we're using here on the 4 corners, by of course putting a little bit of glue, placing the other one on, and then just sticking one nail there in each corner. Now I'm going to be changing out my 2-inch brad nails to my 1.25-inch brad nails. And safety first, take your battery out before you change your nails, because you do not want to nail yourself. You don't want to shoot one of those nails into you at all. And then it's just really simple just to slide out. It's kind of like an electric stapler that has the little thing that slides out, and then you put your staples in there. This particular brad nailer is the same way. Once you get it in there, you put your battery back in and you're ready to go. Now the reason I changed to 1.25-inch is because of that centerpiece is actually not as thick, and you don't want your nails going all the way through. So you'll go ahead and finish that out. Oops, gotta be careful. So now we're here to put on our little, what I would call our little crown. And we're going to take out the 1.25-inch. We're finished with those, and we're going to go back in with our 2-inch brad nails. You won't have to change again for any of the rest of the stuff that you do, which really putting this top on is the last thing that you're going to do. So now these pieces here are taking your 2x2s, and you're cutting 2 at 9 inches and 2 at 6 inches. And then you're going to put these together the same way that you were kind of putting together those little rectangles. And we'll just go ahead, put a little bit of glue on them, and get those nailed together. Now that we've got that all nailed together and made our little square, we are going to place this on the top, and you want to center it up all the way around. You can use a ruler if you want to. I personally just eyeballed it. It is a Farmhouse piece, and so a little bit rustic, being a little bit off is not a big deal to me. But if you want to make it, definitely the same width all the way around, definitely use your ruler. But I'm just going around the inside edge with a little bit of the wood glue, getting it placed on there where I want it, and then I'm going in again with my nail gun. Guys, again, you can use a hammer nails, you can use a drill and some screws. It's whatever you're most comfortable with, but you can totally do this. So I went in and put one in each corner, and definitely it is now ready to put our feet on. I did forget about the feet, didn't I? So we definitely have to put our little feet on there. You don't have to, you can set it straight on the ground, but I like the little feet. And these are just 4 pieces of the 2x2s cut at 1.5 inches long. And you're just going to stick them on each 4 corners, spacing them where you want them, a little bit of glue, and 2 nails in each one. And then, guys, it will be ready to make it your own. Guys, yes, I'm going to be using my decorative glaze that I have here from Rustoleum, the bottomless pit of a can here. But guys, you can paint it, dry brush it, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to use a foam brush, put on some music, or put on a mega video. I've got one of those for you. I'll place it up here in the iCards if you want to put that on and just get to staining, because it does take a little bit of time to get all these nooks and crannies, but oh, it just turns out absolutely beautiful. So now I want to show you what I did to put a handle on the top. Now I just took some nautical rope that I had on hand from the Dollar Tree, and as you see, I've kind of got it folded over there at the bottom. I'm just going to take a staple gun here and staple it right to the side, getting it centered up there. And then I'm going to take some jute twine and I'm going to loop it around, making sure that I leave a long enough tail that will be at the end of it when I finish wrapping this. But I'm just going to tie it at the very bottom, and then I am just going to begin to just wrap it around, twisting and twisting until I get all the way to where I've covered, where I have folded it over. I hope that that makes sense to you there. But you basically are going to be wrapping the jute around 2 pieces of nautical rope and that little tail of the jute twine until you get it all the way to the end. Now that you've gotten all the way to the end, you'll see that you have the tail that you brought up from the bottom, and you're just going to cut that off, and you'll have the second tail, and just tie it in a simple knot, cutting off your excess there, and you have a beautiful farmhouse piece for your decor. I am so glad that I bit the bullet and went ahead and created this awesome project. It's something, like I said, I've wanted to do for a long time, and I hope that you guys got inspired to go out and create one of these for yourself. And if this is the first time we are meeting, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. Now, I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss a single one. Well, guys, I'm so glad that the new year is here, and I am continuing to pray that your new year is a blessed one. So keep looking up, because that's where it all is. I'll see you on the next video.